All right, everyone. We've had a little break, and we're back to the Yangarg sector. You are still at the explorator ship. You've been spending a month there, gathering all the various goods from the ship, whether that is books, equipment, or the various archaeotech. You have been liberating it in the name of the dynasty. So, as I said, it has been about a month of you being there. You have been doing the various, deeds needed to acquire these items. But while you've been there, you have also been contacted by rogue trader Simon Johansson Xavier III that he wishes to meet and meet with you in Thalia, pinging it right here, where he, in about 6 to 8 months' time, you would love to meet for a wine and dine sort of situation. Further from there, I believe that Father Xerxes has discovered another planet that could be liberated and claimed in the name of the dynasty, the Erasmo site. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes. What was it?
Great point.
Not an artifact, but
an archaeotech, a relic, I think.
Relic. That's what. Yeah, that was found on a great. Erasmo is essentially a graveyard planet, but a Saint Erasmo, had essentially colonized it years and years ago. So, and he is buried somewhere on that planet. And this planet is without any sort of leadership, any sort of guidance.
Exactly. Now, just to remind everyone, you are still looking for the knights that you initially set out to find. You have some further information on these knights.
Yep, they changed their name 3 times.
3 times. So 3 times the documents of their existence has been altered. And last but not least, Cadmus is still waiting for you to go to Paltor's lighthouse for him to finalize the marriage of one of his in-laws. So he will be able to provide you with a respectable navigator for your other house, for your other ship.
Indeed. Sort of sounding like
I think the navigator one might be the best option at the moment.
A bit dependent. It's really first, though we do have those 3 things to accomplish, we do need to get all of our goods that we are in tow back to Thalmius.
Yes.
And talk with them on our such what's the term? Such favor that is bestowed upon us by the mechanicus for returning such a ship, and not only that, but expunging filth from it.
Yes. So you want to go through, or you have been going through with the necessary precautions for putting crew onto the ship. Navigator Cadmus has been using this as a chance to see one of his proteges rising up for the challenge of warp navigating.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. And the beacon that you currently have on board your ship is going to be the point that you have. Now, I want to point something out, and this is going to be made advisable to you over this last week of this month. While before the navigator for the other ship has been able to keep up with you, more or less out of the sheer threats that Cadmus has placed upon him. Also, it's now been did I ever elaborate to you what Cadmus actually did to the navigator?
You did not.
All right. Well, you are going to be getting a contact from the other ship. Captain Loretta has effectively, during this month, made contact that she is becoming a bit concerned about the other navigator. The stress levels that he's enduring from the threats from Cadmus is becoming notable. Effectively, he has found a server skull and a servitor, and he has requested them by the local tech priest on the Tenebris Mare to build a lasgun hunting rifle to eternally be placed at the back of the navigator's head, so even underwater he will be shot should Cadmus be displeased.
That's a bit concerning.
Yeah.
Can I just give him a call?
Well, the real question in that is, would you want a navigator of another ship to be under such stress? And that would probably be the problem that's starting to So yeah, I've got that while that's happening. All right.
So Loretta is just mentioning that she is concerned about it. She is more or less asking for permission for a temporary period of time to remove said gun from the navigator's head.
Yeah, that will be Matthias will agree to that, since we are not traveling in the warp right now. Hopefully she made that a little bit earlier in the week or in the month rather than right at the freaking end of it, because that would suck. It'd be like, yeah, you have 1 day of abstainment.
No, she wants to basically take it away from him even during warp travel. Primarily for the whole thing of like he's had it on like the back of his head day and night, and it's starting to given that he doesn't know what will trigger it. His paranoia is setting in for this navigator, so she'd like to have it removed, more or less permanently. No one has questioned it, given that it is a higher officer from the main house.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of been ignored for the time being, but now she's becoming concerned that the stress is showing. It's starting to show it whenever she asks for reports from the navigator.
Well, at what point would this be brought up? Because that's the thing. I think Matthias would say, in this I kind of have to keep Cadmus happy. He'll be like, he'll respond with, High Navigator Cadmus has placed it there because of the previous errors that were made that could have put the house's standings in peril when you warp jumped into an unknown section of space. With that, you can remove it for the time being until warp travel. It will then be reinstated when we go into warp travel as a failsafe on behalf of...
That's acceptable for the captain at the very least. Then the navigator will have a 1 week R&R, so to speak.
Yep.
It will be installed for the duration. It will be explained to him. It will only be during the duration of warp travel itself.
Yeah.
And then during non-warp travel, it will be considered to be a... How would you put it? It will basically be removed.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, he will say, have the navigator understand that have the navigator know that this precaution is taking place due to some of what's the best way to put it? some differences in opinion with the High Navigator of the House, though he is still under the constraints of the Captain of House Atreidies, and in that, should he focus on his work, stay true to the Emperor's call to him, there should be... Stay true to the Emperor's call, he will have nothing to fear.
Very well. She will definitely relay that in a more, in a way that will be understood by this navigator.
Gotcha. He speaks through binary. Why, his brain no work right. Oof. All right. Okay, yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah. So, guys, what would you like to do? Would we like to travel all the way back to Thalmius with the ship?
Yeah. Is everyone else feeling that they are good with what we pulled off?
Yeah, I'd be agreeable to that.
Have we
Same.
recovered? Everyone's happy. We've battened down the hatches, consecrated certain things, all that good stuff.
Can I? Yeah. While we were doing all that after we cleared it, could I technically apply that as a way to train some of the other in-training guardsmen if I were to use a Tactica Imperialis Scholastical?
Yes, you definitely can. It would mean that you're either going to be doing the training on board the Vincere, or you will have to go over to the Tenebrous Mare to do these drills, as the Tenebrous Mare is the one where it's set up for like urban combat and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, we'd use the Tenebrous Mare.
Okay.
And then just make a regular roll. Or would I be able to add an extra bonus just because the mare is set up for it?
You'll get a +20 from the mare because it's got all the setup. So you can run them through the various drills, and you've got plenty of time. So yeah, you've got the perfect setup for all the soldiers, like go through both urban combat, when you have to do breaches and so forth. I do have to do a quick roll because at the moment, when you enter into warp, it will basically be falling down for Cadmus to try and navigate the warp the best he can, given that there are now 2 other ships that are coming along, and one of them is a protege.
Understood. The one thing I would have definitely implemented is if there's anything we can do to assist him
actually, nice roll.
in this matter, we would have. Because, of course, I want to make sure that every householding and potential IOU we can get from this is something we can get from this.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to do that really quickly because by the looks of it, Cadmus has found a new route where you spend 1 day in the warp to travel back to Thalmius.
Okay. All right. Oh, so this is... no, sorry. I was saying this was like us preempting. Like, when we were prepping to do the warp route, I would literally be like, is there anything we can do, Master Navigator, to assist you? I know it's taxing. Though you are of strong blood and a dedicated mind, I understand, well, I have some inclinations that maybe guiding 3 ships under one eye is potentially stressful. Is there anything we can do to assist you?
Well, he's done all the preparation his side. He's found the Astronomicon. He's established contact with the various ones, and he's working with Lady Sachi to basically make sure that contact is at least maintained through the astropathic choir. So everything his side has been taken care of. The only thing he would otherwise think of would be
maybe check the engines. OX11 doing his thing.
Well, he doesn't want to. He doesn't know how often the warp engine would need to be cleaned, but the last time it was done, it should last a while, but definitely could be done.
Well, I
If you
mean, we don't
wish
know
to
about
recommend.
we don't know about the Tenebrious Mare or the sorry, the Tenebrious Mare or the Mechanicus ship. So we could probably have OX
Yeah.
do his work there.
Yes, he would definitely suggest that.
Okay. Welcome back.
Suka.
Oh God. What's going on, man?
Eh,
All right.
Don't mind me.
OX11. Did you
Bliet.
copy all of that? Take that as a big fat negative. I will message him.
All right, no worries. Well, if he's, I think he's going to be away for the time being.
Seems potential.
Yep. I've already rolled for the navigation, and it's going absolutely amazing. So Cadmus basically managed to lead the 3 ships through the warp fine. He's not having too much of an issue there.
Awesome. Well, that's good for us. With that, once we, I wouldn't bother while we're actually navigating, because in the end, don't the navigators become isolated once we go into warp travel because they basically stare into the warp?
Yes, I mean the doors to their rooms basically go on lockdown. So
Okay.
the only way to communicate with the navigators are via either Vox or Astropathic Wire. Given that, they literally open the curtain into the warp itself and they're looking out into it.
Understood. Okay then. What was I gonna do? Something with Cadmus, but no big deal now. God, well, I just had an idea and it went right out my brain. So I guess come back to me later. Also, I'll be making some commerce checks while we're mid-transit to work with Master Thalmius. Work with Master Thalmius to start figuring out what's the potential value of what we're returning in the Mechanicus ship to the Mechanicus. Pull Importunus, and Portunus Regis to check, some historical documentation on what previous deals like this, what was gained, what the markdown was, and all that.
Yep.
Alright, and you need me to do anything?
I did send you the message. Basically, you're just rolling to check out the engines of the Tenebrious Mare, because you did ours already, cleaning on it. And you remember you did a outstanding job, but then there's the Tenebrious Mare and the Mechanicus ship that we need to do before we made warp jump.
Okay, do I get any bonuses for helping with the...
Yes, you'll have like a plus 10, given that you've done some of these things there before.
Okay, there's the Tenebrious Mare. And here's the tech ship. There you go.
Super. Right, so they're all squeaky clean now with the cleanups that you've been leading.
Awesome.
So yeah.
It's because of the spider legs, I can get into the deep crevices on the roof.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's the machine sees you as its kin, so it's like, yo, yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest, fam. Scrub behind my ears.
You think of me like one of those cleaning shrimp.
Oh, God. So, can I do a commerce check with,
Yes,
Fortunatus
definitely can.
checking all them? Alright, any
Yes.
modifiers?
Well, you get a plus 10 from Portunus and Regis as a team, and you can get another plus 10 from Jackie's device, as well as Jackie himself. So that's a total of plus 30.
Okay. All right. Ooh, definitely gonna re-roll that. Spend a fate point, re-roll. Much better.
Yes.
All right. I got 3.6. So that's just a excuse me. Prepare our books. Prepare our books and ledgers and whatnot for when we go into negotiations on what the ship's worth, and of course, tossing out there that we did literally cleanse foul heretics.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let OX primarily drop that, since me saying those words may offend some tech priests. How do you know what those are?
My uncle.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The other one would be to make sure that I know we're on a mechanicus planet, but have Father Xerxes let his contacts know that we helped in the destruction of what seems to be arch enemy cultists that were found on this ship, and of course all the documentation within the administratum and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll also bring, up that there are Xenos there that the the Mechanicus can definitely experiment on, since they are orcs. And was there Mechanicus Biologus on Thalmius? I couldn't remember if we asked that question originally.
Yes, there are definitely mechanicus biologists there.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Let me shoot off some private messages while anyone else wants to go over what they want to do.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to start with the OX11.
Would you like me to help you?
So, from my understanding, is that you're going to be leading the negotiation with Thalmius in about selling back their ship, which technically now belongs to Atreidies.
Yes. Me and Iota would help me with the data on how many heretics we purged, or heretics.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I'll have him help me run the numbers of how many. What would you call servitors that are pretty much used for heretic?
Oh, it's definitely like Dark Mechanicus, or like what's it called? Fallen servitors, or infected
fallen
servitors.
solar servitors. We do a count on that too, because there was a shit ton.
Oh, there was a lot of them. So he's got the numbers of that, from analyzing the data combat data and so forth.
Okay, and am I using my intelligence to communicate with them?
Yes. So intelligence. So you probably get a plus 20 from Iota and his work.
And if I remember correctly, I get a plus 10 from my tech thing, or if I speak to other mechanicus, I get. Here we go. There we go.
Sounds good. Right, so once you start approaching them about, when you have this ship that is an explorator, their interest peaks quite a bit. Once you explain to them what you've done, they seem to be like, this is very acceptable terms. In terms, that the fact that you've given them, a clean, scrubbed down ship.
Yeah, I even cleaned it. Fuck, I could add that too.
Exactly.
I do love that. Okay.
So, they're going over. Basically, they want to do like an inspection of the explorator ship, of the condition of its status, checking its, machine spirit and so forth. before they want to go into the negotiations of the value of the ship.
Understood.
Yep. So this is going to be taking some time, as they're going to have several trips and several, envoys going up there to basically interface with it. Now, while you were, the 1 month over at the location of where it was, you have had the chance to do some repairs and some maintenance, but some of the damage that the Red Baron did is just hard. Like, it's really been big impacts from all of the bombing runs that was done. So they do point out that you are bringing back a wonderful ship, but you are also bringing it back badly damaged, and it's probably going to be taking years to have it fully restored, if not, up to a decade of consistent working. Given that you are at a forge world, and it does have, a few dry dock stations above its planet, they can work on it, but they're not looking at taking this back at premium price.
Understood. I bring that to the table to Mathon.
Right. And the final thing is that when they review everything, they say that they will be needing, give or take, like a month and a half to survey all the damages done to the ship. It is big. They will, given that they are not expecting that you're selling the crew that came with the ship, they will also need to, factor in what they need to then do in terms of like crew replacement and all of these other things.
Understandable, but crew replacement is technically not our fault. In fact, getting rid of the bad crew would be give us a discount in my book.
They understand your stance. However,
a new crew still costs money.
Yeah, like they're looking at this and going like, okay, you've given us, it's like, a car, but you gave it to them without an engine, without oil, without, what's it called, the tubes or any of that. They have to go back and like put all of that in. No, it has an engine, but it doesn't have like the communications or the electronics that communicates like the engine to the steering wheel and so forth. So they have to go back in and like literally insert all of that. Because technically, in the 41st millennium, because it's so lovely grimdark, if you buy a piece of equipment, you also buy the families attached that works that piece of equipment.
Oh,
Yes.
wait, I forgot.
Understand.
Just remember,
Yeah,
we didn't kill everyone. Only the ones who showed taint. Was that all of them? Oh, shit.
There's a good portion of them. Like, there are some crew members that are still there, but like you're looking at less than skeleton. You're looking at like dust fragments.
Gotcha.
So they're going to be doing all of that, and like I said, they're going to be spending a month and a half just surveying the ship and all of its damages to make sure they have everything catalogued. So when they come for the final pricing, they will be listing out everything that's wrong with the ship.
Okay.
The religions in the game.
Before the final price down is, can I look at that map?
If you want to look at the damages yourself.
No magic.
No, because I want to be with the ship at the time, and I think we might be doing other things while that month's going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll just see we'll just see what happens after.
Okay.
So Matthias,
yes.
where to next? Well, we technically have a month before they give a.
Understood.
We can go do other stuff.
Yep, and we will. There's just other characters. I'll be with that information. He'll say, "Thank you, Master OX." With that, I would say have check over your men, see if any replacements are necessary, and prepare the ships to be underway. I have talked in the meantime with Father Xerxes and Thalmius on establishing certain house holdings, potentially on the planet Orin sector, to, of course, verify and verify and keep tabs on the comings along of the mechanicus with the new ship that we've just brought back into the fold of the Omnisci's Grace. And we shall be raising anchor and making underway. She'll be raising gravity anchor, wink, and making underway most likely in the next few days.
Understood.
What if I
God, that reminds me, I gotta type something to sexy.
You
Then by all means. Yeah, with that, I did talk with, I talked with a couple people, so I'll just let you do your thing, Sarah.
does anyone have anything for me that you want to do?
Yeah, I'm typing it.
Okay, sounds good. In the meantime, go on.
Sending messages to Diarchus via personal messages, asking him to check on our mental and faith of our soldiers, those who were in combat, those who were sustained, and focusing those who sustained wounds or psyche situations. Sending clergy with a respected officer, like lower officer, to these groups of men, just to make sure that their spirits are high, that they're being taken care of for, and that just all around that. So I don't know if Diarchus is.
I would love some form of fellowship role. I mean, medically you're fine, but definitely looking to like bolster morale and whatnot. Because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a straight roll, correct?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, that helped.
Oh, Jesus. You find that you can twist their, like, the things that they've experienced, like the dark mechanicus, the horrors of the machine and whatnot. You basically turn that around and go like, no, and you reinforce to them that this is why, faith in the Imperium, faith in man, and why a whole body is what you need to strive for. The flesh is not weak. You should be, the only time you should ever, accept a bionic thing is when, you lose a limb in the name of the God Emperor, because by that point it is sanctioned for you to, have something replaced. And like every time they have to put metal into their body, they have to make sure it is pure, that it is good, and so forth. So you basically instill this form of like humanitarian view of themselves, as they now look upon this as like, we don't want to be servitors fighting these things. We are better than that. We actually have a brain, so forth and so forth. So you're doing an amazing job when it comes to that.
Nice.
So that is just spot on for in your case. Just see.
What the fuck, Brian?
Yes. Yes, OX?
No, I'm just saying. I'm like, flesh is weak.
You're weak. We're not weak.
We're not weak.
Cries in the
I stood
robotic
by
hands.
you the whole time.
But our faith is strong.
Yes, but the flesh is soft and spongy. Anyways,
But the
okay.
soul is protected.
Yes, but the soul is protected. Yeah, it was. Okay, Architect, do I get any bonuses for that?
You get a plus 30.
Wow.
Understood.
You've got a library, you have IOTA, and you have information.
All right. Where are you, Archaeotech? There you are. Woo!
Well, it helped with you got a plus 30.
Oh, it definitely did.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Right, how do we do that? That one, and is this going to be the right color? Yep, perfect. Hip, Right. So, now on the map over here, OX,
Yeah.
you have found you have basically through the library, through the information of this latest name, you have actually uncovered that you think you found one of the recent battle sites that these knights have taken place on.
All right. Well, that means I'm gonna do I come back to the ship, and then I text Matthias and Murdoch. Then
Just gonna be adding in the name.
And then ask them for their presence when I get.
There we go. Right. So this one moved on. So it's at Laura set 33. Effectively, this is one of the from what you are basically finding as Laura was a planet that rose up. The documents show that they were supported with a mixture of Xeno sympathizers and Xeno weaponry, to the point of where, like, not only did they overthrow the governor, they were actually establishing a naval fleet to fight back Imperial.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry.
Murdoch.
Microphone was having issues.
Yeah, so you basically find out that this place was originally overthrown with Xenos, and from what you're gathering from all of the information, this looks to be one of the sites that, in the documents, it says that it disappeared, that these knights disappeared due to an uprising. And you're now discovering that this probably would be the site, and the more information you're gathering is effectively informing you that they were well armed by like pseudo technology to the point where they had like their own fleet. So when the Imperium came to like bring it back, they put up like quite the fight. The Xenos that were found to be working with them were a very unusual one, and because you've got 5 degrees of success, I can actually quickly upload information that you technically shouldn't have yet, but somehow you found, because this system is wonderfully broken.
Well, that's ominous.
You know, it's just things that you need to that you'll be having available.
Yes.
All right, come on. There we go. And this is a picture of the Xenos who were found fighting alongside the humans.
Huh.
The hell?
Okay.
God, what are those?
No, this is not Street Sharks.
No,
Stop
it's
it.
not street crooks.
We would be dead if it was. Once one
Okay, first
person gets
off-
wounded, they can smell blood for 100 miles.
Yes, as a person who plays a were-shark and fucking white wolf, yes, I know. But no, those don't look anything like that. But they remind me of those. Like, it was a toy when we were growing up. They were like little midget monster men.
Just try not to bring too much reason for people to do copyright strikes against us.
Anyways, shit.
They look. I mean, it looks cool. There's a ton of them. Jeez. That's a picked recording, or like a singular
just-
picked of them, still picked.
That's a still picked.
That guy died.
Oh,
The
it's
guy-
why a servo skull was reclaimed by the Omnici.
Yeah, probably. It got you know, a good salute. Anyways, okay. I'm definitely gonna take this information and I will data that into my brain, or on my data slate.
Yeah.
And then I take that back and I'm like, Matthias and Murdoch, would you please meet me at the opening hangar, please?
No, I don't. Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
have to know when this is taking place because Matthias is doing a lot of things. But should there be a lull in what he is doing, he will be like, I will most assuredly be there momentarily.
Okay. Oh, and bring some Amasac.
I like the first sentence, Sexius.
Yes.
The guy you didn't like. I mean, that's fair. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's good for me. What was the other person that I talked to? Cool. So the one thing I did talk to, yeah. Sorry. Does anyone else want to say anything before I start yammering on?
Something that Matthias did message me about is to be sure to relay a message to be relayed by Lady Sachi back to the ecclesiarch of our great deeds and triumphant victory over the heretics in this sector.
Wink, wink, hint, hint. Playing all ends of the Empire. Mechanicus is pleased. The ecclesiarch is also pleased.
We just don't let them know that we let the other one know.
Oh, well, they probably have spies. I mean, come on.
Alright, so
You know how
you-
any
so
mega
you-
corporation works. They all spy on each other.
Yeah. So you're just like spreading the knowledge of you
Mhm.
fighting all these corrupt things. Yep.
Oh, well, so the tag along that went with it was a secondary message to Thalmius, which they were both talking like, hey, make sure that when you write this up and send this off, that Thalmius has a hand. I should have said that to you, Brian, that Thalmius has a hand in it because he has the ability to spin it, and what I'm trying to spin off of it is getting for the next potentially ecclesiarchy-held planet, if not ecclesiarch, the Administratum at least sees that the ecclesiarch and Mechanicus are both like, oh, look, these guys are doing good things. That we get priority troop consideration for, potential tithes on a planet. I don't know exactly how that works in your mind. Would a planet be able to write off troops that they're like, hey, this guy needed this, he has enough clout in the Imperium, part of our tithe went to making sure he has an army?
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Okay. Alright, I was
So-
just wondering.
What you want to effectively establish is, one, that you're doing work for the Imperium, which you're doing so far. Your reports for the Imperium has actually been showing that. Well, just look at the map here. And remember you only had like, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets when you first came here. And look at all the new ones that you've now found.
Other than Talia, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, rogue traders got to trade, bruh.
Yes.
Which is fair. With the negotiations for the money with the mechanicus, we would also notify them, and this would be something that I forgot to say I would send with OX11, that we are privy to a I can't remember what it was, from Thalmius to the actual derelict graveyard and back, but should someone understand, we can smooth the deal with rapid transit route.
You want to provide transit routes for them?
No. Sorry. So I remember you said like everyone, like Talia could be like, yes, we have a warp route to where you're going. We just have to go to Jor first, then to Erasmo, then to this star over here, and then we're there. And it's only 3 months, and we're like, but we found one that's 5 days.
Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah, that's like really valuable information, like warp routes like that you find.
Yeah, so that would be the thing is, hey, if you guys give us, oh, there we go. That ties in perfectly. Cool. So I would bring that up to Master Thalmius, and OX11. OX, you be brought into a message that basically says, you see the messages going beforehand. He's talking to Master Thalmius about potentially establishing a noble, or support for a noble household on Thalmius, if there is one. And if someone's like, I really don't want to deal with a rogue trader, we go, well, we have a really, really nice warp route that gets you really quickly to this plethora of ships and salvage and even Xenos that you can, destroy, experiment on, capture, whatever you want to do for the Empire. Sweeten the deal. Basically, we're trying to... Matthias kind of wants to see if we can establish a minor noble household that's sponsored by us, and the ends to the means on this one is just to make sure that Thalmius, when we show up, will supply us with troop equipment when we show up with PDF. That's really, in the end, it's just to have a trade agreement for potentially troop equipment, if not light armor vehicles or armor.
All right.
That was the idea. Now, if there needs to be a lot of rolling done, I can do that, as we're going to be here for a few days refitting the ships, since I believe we expended quite a bit of effort, time, food. We were out there a month salvaging the ship, and that'd probably be a month's worth of food for the entirety of the crew, including the Tenebris mare.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If not more food, because we found other survivors on their ship.
But also their ship's reserves of food.
There could be.
Yeah.
I'm not assuming that it's untainted. So those are the rolls to be made, or the idea, if we can. Any rolls you want from Matthias himself?
I'm gonna ask for either an intelligence or a fellowship roll here.
With OX out the gate.
Kind of, because you are in a way trying to like also establish like with the whole nobility and whatnot. Bear in mind that mechanicus is not within the normal confines of the Imperium.
So I wouldn't actually fully understand how things work on a Forge World. I get it. Which one has less negatives, because they're about equal in skill set?
Okay, I would probably say intelligence it would have less negatives.
Okay. All right, what kind of modifiers?
Just a -10.
Okay. Oh, and I rolled a 20. Oh,
well
wait,
done.
what? Hold on, I did a +10. My bad, so that becomes
Well, you
I
still
don't know. I
passed.
thought I put a negative. My bad. I can re-roll if
That's-
you want, Saxius, but it was a
No,
20,
that's fine.
so
It's
okay.
it's fine. It's a 3.4 degree success. So yeah, at the moment, they're much more like the system within the mechanicus. The whole idea of like nobility kind of exists, but it's not the same way that you would have like in the Imperium. So if you wanted to go through with like raising these things, and you OX, you would also know this, that mechanicus quote unquote nobility would be very difficult to technically maintain, because they would then, by all theories, fall outside of even the rogue traders' jurisdiction. It's not something that you would easily be able to like control. The majority of the ruling classes on a forge world is run by the mechanicus. There is very few true noblemen on a forge world. So it would be down for OX to convince people to effectively form an explorator fleet that would then work in cohesion with the dynasty.
Ooh. Oh man, that's an endeavor on itself. Oh,
So
man.
the alternative for that would either be to go to Lucia and try and pop out that question, given that they are technically imperial and they would follow under that very, very same order. Plus, given that Lucia is technically a imperial world, you can actually wave your warrant around and say that you need to claim resources in the name of the Imperium.
Okay. I understand if that ruling still sits. What I was kind of thinking is if there's a non, I know I'm now like sifting for a needle in straw, but basically, would there be imperial nobles on the planet who have some sway? Like, say they are the main trade houses that deal with Lucia, and or Droth bringing in goods to Thalmius. Now, of course, they don't have primary sway. Basically, what Matthias is looking for here is just someone who we can leave on the planet, wet the palm a little bit, and they basically just keep an eye that the mechanicus isn't trying to do us dirty.
Right. You would then have to work with the people on the space station of Thalmius. So you're not going to get people on boots on the ground. You're going to get the people who then deal with like the trading and the logistics of to and from Thalmius. Like those are the best ones you can find at the moment. And it's just down to the fact that this is a mechanicus world. The mechanicus run this planet, meaning that they won't be dealing with any bureaucratic or feudalistic notions. And OX, feel free to jump in here if you feel that if you disagree with any of these statements. Otherwise, I'll take silence as a complicit, and you completely agree with me.
Silence is consent.
Silence is in fact consent.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I'm in danger.
No, it's just potentially meaning that we're going to get less out of it. But in the end of the day, it's better to have the money in Matthias's mind through, of course, command meetings. You guys would get the idea that Matthias wants to continue moving. A rogue trader house that continues moving, continues bringing in revenue, versus sits and waits. The only reason we sat and waited for the explorator ship is because we directly got something from it. We got upgraded parts for our ships, we got upgraded technology, and the potential to bring this back. So, if we kind of have to do a fast and loose deal, OX, you would know Matthias doesn't mind in the end us turning over that warp route to the Mechanicus for an increase in potential pay versus what we're actually going to get, if there's really no nobles that can partake our oversee duties of the house holdings on Thalmius. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'll leave it to you. in the end to talk with him since you're the mechanicus guy, and you can kind of you and Master Thalmius, because he.
I'm gonna ask Iota to keep an eye on that.
Wait, you're gonna leave him on Thalmius?
No.
I was gonna say what?
No, pretty much he's gonna inform me about stuff whenever he gets messages.
Oh, okay. He's just waiting, basically, from replies from Thalmius or from Thalmius?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
I ain't leaving Iota alone. Heck no.
Hey, he does work. Master Thalmius, you have anything to say?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Did you get the stuff I sent? Did you get
Yes.
the thing I sent you? Okay, right. Right. Well, I think I'll lay that over to people. At this point, I'm just gonna be on a hold for the meeting with OX about in the hangar bay that he wants to talk about, and then for warp travel to, I guess. There was nothing pertinent at Mart 3 at the moment, right? That we know of.
Let me get out here. On Mar 3, that was an agricultural planet. It is, let's see here, Droth does actual agriculture. Sarum was a fishing planet. Yor was a... Oh god, was another agricultural planet. And Mar is a cattle planet.
Gotcha. So, like, bestiary livestock.
Yes, like ground up beef, chickens, all of that sort of stuff. Like, that's what they focus on.
Gotcha. So, could it be easy to say that potentially they have some game there?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
It's
Matthias
more
will
of
make
a
sure to put a little
wild
in.
preservatory. Think Brazil and South America on a global scale in terms of like wildlife, and then you've got like areas where they've literally had to like cut down huge swathes just to have like groks and such herds. For
There's laser panthers.
Jesus.
Laser panthers.
This
laser
sounds like a perfect hunting, relaxing vacation for all of the Rogue Trader crew. We're gonna hunt laser panthers. 10 minutes into the
down.
laser panther hunt. Jesus, they've got lasers! We're just running. Who gave the panthers las guns? Oh my god.
What Dark Heresy book they're in, but they shoot them from their eyes.
Right, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so Matthias would be waiting on anyone else to do their part, but Matthias will be heading to that meeting with OX, and does anyone else think? I'm thinking Erasmo sounds like the planet to go to, and then potentially after that, Peltor's Lighthouse. What does everyone think?
You got my. Oh, sorry, goodness.
Jeez, wow. Hope we're not boring you. I'm just kidding.
No, man.
Yeah, I know you worked today, man. I feel it.
No, you. With all due respect, you have my vote.
I'll be like, yes. Did you get that bottle of Amasec I sent you? It's quite a fine vintage.
Yes, sir. I have been quite enjoying it while studying in the library.
Yes. Please do, of course, because he's like, and he waves it off. I don't have to say that to you. I understand your appreciation of knowledge.
And fine Amasec.
He'll get a grin. Mr. Pilkington nods. That's what I need.
All right. So you're heading to Peltor's Light?
Well, no, we'll be doing Erasmo first, and then Peltor's Lighthouse. But I think OX wanted to have a meeting with Matthias and
Murdoch's character.
and D'Arcus.
Yes, I was supposed to come meet with you guys.
Way more echo now.
Yes, the
There we go.
flesh is weak.
And Now it's just ASMR.
So strong.
The ASMR is strong.
Just unscrew my snowball microphone from the stand here.
Don't actually go ASMR, please. Jesus, for the love of God.
I'm not. Just go ahead and just ignore. Keep going.
Okay.
So, greetings, Captain.
Yes, Master OX. You
I come.
and kind of looks around and he's kind of making a little stroll as he links up with you because he's kind of just eyeballing the hangar and the going-ons. He goes, yes, you requested my presence.
Yes. So I just wanted you to link up with me right when I got back on ship to give you the good news that I found from the what was the life?
Oh, you mean Laura Z33?
Yeah, Laura Z33.
Or is it Leora? Sorry.
Yeah,
yeah, Laura.
But Laura Z33 is where one of the battles of God, I can never pronounce the proper name for them. By the way, what name were they going under this planet?
Sorry?
The Night
Which
House.
one of the Night House? What name were they going under when they did this battle?
The last one.
Okay, so they were doing battle on the last planet with these little critters.
And you share the picture, okay.
Yeah. And then I show you a map and the detailings about the fight. And that there was an uprise of Xenos. And that they
this does not bode well.
You said they fell, right?
That's like the last location where they were known from your datas. Like that's the last place where they sort of went, and it's like from the documents you had, it was rumored that was like where they sort of fell, where they were captured.
Yes. So I give you that information to you and Murdoch's.
I'm gonna look over the info and do I?
I was actually going to ask, do you know anything about these Xenos?
That's what I'm about to ask here. If I were to use my scholastic lore, would the Imperium have encountered these aliens before? And can I use my scholastic lore to find that out? To rack my brain for that knowledge.
Let me look real quick.
Yes, if you have like any Xenos rolls or like you use scholastic lore, it will be like at a -20 because this is not exactly like a widespread Xeno race.
Gotcha. Okay. I will go with that.
It will be a -10 because you have the library with you.
Ah.
Gotcha.
Arcus.
And I have access to the library.
Did I give you access?
You did.
When was that?
When you took me to the library.
No.
And you gave the people the...
Lady Sachi asked that I give temporary access for a safe meeting place.
Oh, was that...
Saxius, can I use my Xenos roll, though it is not pertaining specifically to that race?
Or perhaps I could.
I would like to use my fate point to add 10 to that.
That's fine. And right, so they go by the name of Humako. And they are how would you put it, a nomadic Xeno race. However, think of them like the Kroot. They travel in huge fleets. They come in massive numbers. And what they do is that technically they are classified as mercenaries, but they're mercenaries with an agenda. And that agenda is war. If they find somewhere where it is possible to instill war. They will do whatever they can to start an uprising.
This sounds
They have
very greenskin-like.
very greenskin-like, but you gotta bear in mind, like, they start a war. They come down there like, hey, we're mercenaries, we'll fight for you. They will take the money, and then what they're also doing is that they're just taking the resources. They're burrowing in, they're taking everything that they need for the fleet, and they're using their joy of like warfare, so like a subterfuge to just come in and just take what they need. And their methods have just been found that they create this sort of like military industrial complex where there's always something that has to be done next, always something that has to be pushed onwards, and they're using this as like a way to like keep on like keeping themselves busy while they take the resources, and then when they see the tide is turning, they just yoinks out of there because they have what they need to like mass produce their weapons again while in space, and then they just go to find the next place that they need to go to, and they keep on doing this. And they will just, it's like a locust plague, except that they convince the local population to rise up against their lords so they can come in and like steal the food, steal the resources while having fun, fighting on the front lines.
God damn. All that from a 0.6 success.
0.6 success, yeah. This is just like once you find that they're documented, you don't know like anything in terms of like the biology, in terms of their weaknesses, their
But they
tactics.
start insurrections, basically.
They start
and harvest.
Yes, like that's the core principles that you're basically finding.
Got you. Any modifiers for that?
Yeah, so +10 from library, and you can get another +10 from the Arcus now that he's passed his.
Okay. Standard intelligence roll then?
Standard intelligence roll.
Any defaulting on that? So any negatives to it with the +20s thus far?
No, you found the books. Now it's all about like understanding what the hell it is that they're talking about.
Gotcha.
All right. You're getting some insights now for their ships themselves. They are bulky, quite bulky. Like they are made to take a lot of punishment, but they don't give out a lot of punishment, so to speak. Like they're just, how would you put it? There's a lot of like resistance. They've got a lot. They put on as many void shields as they possibly can, and you understand that like their weaponry is very short ranged. And even then, like it's not like the most powerful ones once it starts penetrating void shields. But it's just like they're very defensive when it comes to like their void combat. Their ground combat, they're offensive as all hell. But like void combat, they very much hunker down and they try to use that to sort of create blockades. And at worst case situation, they try to use it their durability to like physically ram into enemies to do boarding parties.
Understood. And then the ground tactics take over of offense. Got it.
Exactly. So their main strength lies in like their planetary warfare. They don't have aerial support, from what you can tell. Like they don't actually have flying ships, unlike orcs where they just sort of go herb, we're just gonna throw wings in a truck and they all work. They don't have that.
Ugh.
They don't have any ships whatsoever or flies whatsoever, but they do have like AA guns and tanks and a lot of like of other things. But it's also because like they are the size of like Ogrins, so to speak.
Oh,
and
gotcha. They're big. All right.
They're big.
All right. They're the biggins. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that is a pin to put in that bad boy since we have all that tidbit of information about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that, he says, all right, we will, with the meeting between OX and Arcus, I pray the God Emperor that the knights fought valiantly and weren't taken or blasphemed by this Xenos. When he says that, he spits.
We will not know until we arrive there. so perhaps we should make haste.
Did it state a date for when they were last recorded going to this planet? The information that OX got.
Like in relation for what? Like
In relation for us, how long ago did this conflict take place?
so this was something that has been, from what you can make out, this is something that seems to have been taking place. What's it called? Like right after the warp storm had been uplifted. So this is something that looks to have been either preyed upon, or this is something that's been taking place, more or less like as the warp storm evaporated and disappeared. This is something that's suddenly like sort of like broke out. So either they've been, harvesting or infueling this insurrection, which ultimately led to the night house to be deployed to like bring its order back in, or yeah.
Okay.
I mean that's
so
at
it's
least
relatively recent is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's relatively
Okay.
recent.
Right. With that, he will say, "I understand the need for haste in your mind in this matter, but we must be cautious. The house's fleet is small. An enemy that uses such a nomadic, as you have put it, mindset will have many ships. I do not doubt the power of the righteous fury, or the guile and cunning of the tenebrious mare, but numbers are numbers, and you know this. We must, in my mind, do as much reconnaissance against this foe before we push the might of the house towards them. I believe going to Erasmo, should the Emperor see it in our future and have guided our plans to move there, we'll have something that will help us. If not something there that will help us, intelligence upon the enemy and the goings-on in the sector will help us as well. So as of right now, the house's plans stay unchanged. We shall go to Erasmo first, and any increase in intelligence on this can definitely change our plans in the future. But I do not wish to jump into the Laura Z33 sector and come across an enemy fleet with 2 ships. But we will, of course, make the Empire aware of such goings on. It seems this sector itself is of interest to someone or something. And with that, if there's nothing further, I have duties to attend to. And he'll look at both the Arcus and OX.
I will bow and then like, understood, sir.
And he looks to both of them and he goes, Darkus, anything?
I have nothing to add.
Okay. He'll say, good work. We have once again brought a glory to the Empire, to the God Emperor of mankind, and he'll nod at OX and be like, the Omnissiah, and to the house as a whole. I'm glad we've returned ancient technology back into the rightful hands of mankind. Good day. And he heads back to the bridge.
So, if I may interrupt during this time, I'd like to, if any necessary roles, I'm more than obliged, but I would like to find out any additional information on either the saint or the world Erasmo, and want to see what I can find out.
Right, you could definitely do that. Sorry, I need to type out something here.
No worries. Take
so
your time.
just give me a intelligence roll. You can do it with your ecclesiarch. You will get a plus 20 for this.
Okay. Isn't that a 1?
That's a 1, which is like a critical success.
Yeah.
Good God.
Oh my. Good Lord.
So you want to know about you literally want to know about the Erasmus and everything that goes on about it.
Yeah. My heart is set on going to. That's what I said. I'm being in the library because I want to know everything about the saint. I want to know everything about the world as I can. Because we're going to head to this world. We're going to need information, and because what we found out earlier with the what was it? It's a cluster system, but he is buried there. So, anyways, but you were saying the statue item. There it is. Gosh. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my that's my goal.
Yep. Okay. Radio. So, once you start looking into this, you find that the saint, as you know about his whole void voyages and whatnot, Erasmus was then erected as sort of like a tomb world for him and all of the different voyages. So it's a holy site for many void ships to like go and basically bury their deceased there, especially those of high importance. And they were buried there with the various different, forms. You find that Erasmus has got, well, according to the documents, it's got some very strict, sentries set up. So technically they won't just allow anyone, well, they're supposed to not allow anyone to just come by, but given the recent 300 years, it's up for debate whether the planet is still functioning, as they wouldn't have had supplies for 300 years, and it's not like a tomb world is self-sufficient. So you do believe that there are some planetary defenses. In addition to that, Erasmus itself is very low in population. Again, it's primarily grave keepers, a couple of servitors for digging the graves and such. So
this is like a noble tomb world almost.
This is a noble tomb world, like specifically of void nobility. So captains, imperial, like orbital governors, navigators, astropaths. Those are the kind of people who are then buried in this area. People who've got like very pure bloodlines. This is not a place. This is not a place of mass burials. This is high-end stuff, high-end people. And because somewhere on this planet there is a saint, the entire planet is just dedicated to be like, the saint is here. The entire planet is sanctified. It's considered to be like and the entire planet is considered to be, how do you put it, to be holy just because the man lives here. And it is believed that if anyone finds where the saint is buried, the immediate surroundings can be used to build a vineyard where you can then grow wine that you could then, have bottled, because it would contain, the blood and the essence of a saint. If you recall back to the station, where you had this very weird nobleman, the weird governor, who offered you, the wine that almost gave you a temper fit. Do you remember that, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So technically, you would be able to produce this under the house's name.
Well, amen.
Yeah, and I will send you something in private,
Hmm.
and that will be for you to know.
The rest of this would definitely be relayed to the command staff, so it would prep us for our journey. And I would most assuredly hand them the information for them to read before we get there.
There you go. That is in regards for the relic.
Okay. All right. Do I even get to thank you guys? Come on.
No,
Sorry,
it's-
saying a lot of in-ground background.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you for
please.
doing your job.
Good
Look,
job.
I've been rooting for you
Thanks
the
for
whole
doing that.
time.
Thank you for doing your job.
Anyway,
That was from the
so-
rogue trader. Got him.
Good job.
Good job, bro.
Wait,
Yes,
wait,
I support everything you do.
wait! Stop right there! Stop right there! I know my wordings, and I'm lawfully evil. You say good job. Does that mean you're giving him a +10?
Accurate.
Accurate.
Okay. All right, Finlay. That means you get more information about the relic.
Question, can I roll first to give him even more?
Yes, you can.
Alright, what lore is this?
This is gonna be like history, so like flat intelligence.
Oh, no. That's not how this works. I'm infused with knowledge. I have every common scholastic lore.
Okay, fine, great. So this is gonna be like ancient history, specifically that of
Please stop. I can only get
Space
so
Marines.
erect.
specifically
Pretty
Space Marines,
much.
specifically Space Marines and Archaeotech.
I have Archaeotech as forbidden lore. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got some other stuff going on, so what do you need me to roll?
So give me your intelligence roll. It will be with a +20. Every 3 degrees of success will be another +10 for Brian.
Come
on. So that's 9 degrees of success.
Jesus.
Yes.
Can I roll a fellowship command test to give him an additional
Jesus.
plus?
Can I roll a bullshittery test to give him an additional +30?
I will, but you will then take 1d10 plus 5 corruption points.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't do that. I was joking. Jack was not. That was a joke roll, right?
This depends on exactly if the Saxon man really wants me to roll 1d10 plus 5.
Well, I was being serious.
Yeah.
You said insanity or corruption?
Corruption.
Hmm.
Like,
So
I
a
wouldn't
plus
have actually
10 on
rolled
his
that.
test to give him more information? I think
No.
I'll pass.
Jesus. That's a lot of... Wow, that's a lot of corruption as you grow a fourth arm. Wait, he already had
That's a lot of
3?
damage.
If it was 1d5 plus 1, I chance it on the off that I roll a 1, but 1d10 plus 5 could result in 15, and I'm fucked.
Yeah, 15 corruption is a lot, and it starts you down a path that is not good.
Especially when I'm already sitting at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Seneschals know the dirty. I would say be careful with it preemptively rolling, because Saxons could be like, well, you did roll.
That is fair.
Hey,
if he wants me
that is very fair, but I'm holding it back now because everyone thinks I'm memeing when I throw out deals like this.
No, I don't.
No, I never do.
Preacher knows you're not memeing, so that's why I gave you a
I've
warning of
been
next
dealing with
time.
devil's bargains forever, so no.
I
thought
don't
he-
know.
Yeah,
1d10 plus 5 for an additional plus 10 on someone else's
not worth
knowledge roll
Yeah, it's not worth it.
seems like a meme to me.
Well, the thing is it's
I throw it out there as a sort of meme thing, but the thing is, I'm
It's tongue in cheek.
I'm keeping it serious. That if you want to go through with it, yes, and I will make a difference. As in, at that stage, I will literally tell Brian the contacts for who he needs to get in contact with if he wants to take this item further. But I'm not. That was originally meant to be like a side quest all of its own, which I'm okay with you guys entirely sidestepping with this as okay, well, you're gonna open up a book, you're gonna read something, and I'm gonna give you this because you're sidestepping a lot of my work,
Ooh.
which is fine.
Aw.
Which is fine, but I am
But it makes it
all
so
open.
much funner.
Well, that's down for you guys.
Everyone stop rolling so well. God.
I did
You
just
see
roll
things
a
like
lot
that,
more.
it actually makes it feel it might be worth it.
Don't.
Concern.
Don't. We're fine.
All right, well, Brian, are you going to share what I've shared with you?
I'm going to no, but I'm going to message Matthias and again hail him going, it is quite pertinent that we meet in a very timely manner, for I have some very important news to share with you. It is most appropriate that you know before we end or land on Erasmo.
Okay.
Most important.
Okay. All right. He'll say, I shall meet you in my ready room. Yes, Enterprise reference because ready rooms are fire. Within, the next hour.